Welcome to the Audacity Hour. We are here with, of course, myself, lovely Mary, and our new guest of today, Crystal. Welcome, Crystal.
Hi.
Thank you for being here, Crystal.
Absolutely.
So
It is an
amazing.
honor to be here.
I would love,
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
please do.
Okay. My name is Crystal. Hi.
Put you on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah. We go back.
Basically. So I met Mary back in what, like 2019?
2019.
Yeah. Met Mary back in
Yeah.
2019. Clarissa, I met you back in 23, technically.
Yes.
Because we actually started working together more closely, even though I had known
Yeah.
of you
We
in
follow each other
passing.
in
Yeah.
association.
Yeah. We met at work when we worked at said casino.
The said one.
And since then, I have left and no longer work there.
She's still the best of all of us.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
she's it.
I am a major supporter.
I love it.
We're so
Spring
obsessed. Women,
What we
that's
talk
it.
about here, so
Technically, I am law enforcement.
that is true.
And I deal
Wait,
with.
do you carry? Can we say that?
Can I? No, I don't carry. Sorry.
Dang it. Okay.
I have to put out there that I work with teenagers, so there's no need for me to carry.
Okay.
Yeah. We're good. We're good.
You have your voice and you have your presence.
Oh yeah, I have my voice and I have my presence, and honestly, I am finally starting to get down the mama bear look. When someone is not listening to me, I give them the look, and they're like, "All right, never mind." Yes.
Women in law enforcement.
Yes.
It's something that I think we don't see.
No, we don't.
No, not as much.
It's not presented. It's not the staple. It's not the image.
No,
It's not-
it will because
the guys want it.
Yeah,
The guys
it's because it's mostly men who go into it.
Oh, yeah.
But lucky for me, it's been a dream of mine to go into law enforcement, and I finally succeeded. It took me a while, but I finally got there. Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's
Is that
it.
you got there.
Yes.
And is this the environment that you want to? Was this your kind of your thought of where you wanted to be in, or do you want to stay?
God no.
No.
This is
I feel like it was
not.
secret.
This is not
Okay.
where I wanted to be at all. I tell people when they ask me, "Oh, how did you end up here?" Right? I took a class when I was going to college, right, university, and there was a class for corrections, and I don't know what else, right, American corrections or some shit like that, and I barely passed that class, just barely. I got a C minus, and I was like, yes, C's get degrees, right? I remember telling my friend who would always sit next to me in class, and we were both majoring in the same thing, right? Criminology and criminal justice. And I would tell her, you know what? I don't even need this class. I don't even know why I'm taking it. This isn't the field I'm going to go into. God knew what he had planned for me. But the original plan was to go into actual patrol law enforcement because I always had this great, like, I don't want to say desire, but a big want to go into law enforcement because of sexual assault and all those things. I grew up watching Law and Order SVU.
Yeah.
I met Ice-T back in the day.
Oh my God.
Yes. So kind of from there, I was always like, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. So how did I end up here? I don't know, but close enough. Yeah. I mean, all 4 years of college, I focused myself on getting my diploma, but also very much working on educating myself on sexual assault awareness, rape. Fun fact, 1 in every 4 girls has been sexually assaulted and or raped. So that was something that stuck with me the entire time that I was there, because when I first started going there, I had roommates, right?
Yeah.
And there was 4 of us. So I remember always thinking 1 in every 4. So one of us in this fucking room will eventually either be raped or have already dealt with sexual assault.
Thank you for giving us a fun fact, Crystal, because you have that in your brain. I feel that's part of your world. It is your world, and you've studied it. For me, I know that's real, but I don't. It's not in my brain. Yeah,
I get it.
We didn't dive in.
No, I dived in. I dived in so hard that my senior thesis, basically, I focused on sex trafficking and human trafficking. I deep dived into all of the things, right? Sex trafficking, human trafficking, sexual assault, rape, all of the things. And
How long was your thesis? How many pages?
Oh God, I don't remember. But it was long. It was long. And you know what? Lucky for me, I got an A on it. And I didn't think I was going to, because the stress I had for 4 years to develop this thesis and explain my reasonings and explain all the facts. And at the time when I wrote this, which was like back in 2018, 2019, I based it on here in Sonoma County. I had done research. I was already volunteering at a PD department here. And I ended up having connections with other people, and I ended up learning that only 2 to 3 departments at the time had training specifically in human trafficking. All other law enforcement agencies here within this county did not know how to detect if someone was being trafficked.
Wait, is it you're saying that mm, the cops, the street cops, they're
Yes.
not getting
No,
the
they were
proper
not
training?
being trained on it at the time. I don't know about now. I know numbers have increased. I know more departments do have proper training now. I believe it's Petaluma. Obviously, the sheriff's department absolutely knows because they're the ones who had the actual tactical team that dealt with human trafficking, stuff like that. SRPD finally knows, and Runner Park is the newest member, as far as I remember, maybe a year or two. No worries. Finally develop their proper training for it. Yeah, which is crazy, right?
So I know you did the thesis. Did you, I guess, during that time frame, do you recall the statistics within Sonoma County?
God, they were
Yeah.
really low because this is to heartbreak me. And
Emotion.
yeah, and people always blamed human trafficking on said casino. Yes.
I'm not
And
shocked.
at the
about
time I
that.
was still in college, so how would I have known that, right? And I
Totally.
still ended up working for said casino. But once working there, and because I also became a security officer, right? I still try to
Yeah.
put myself
your
in that part where I
You did
kind
your
of got the training
part.
for law enforcement, right? I came to realize that no, it wasn't because of said casino. It's people's actions and others. We are in the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Because we're in the Bay Area, we have a lot of ports, right? Of deliveries of sorts.
Yeah.
And that right there in itself is a main place for trafficking to happen.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, it is. It's really disheartening.
It really is.
It's disheartening to know that just because we are a main port and for goods to come in, we also somehow end up with human beings
Doesn't
being
surprise me.
thrown in there, thrown out, whatever the case may be.
A question about that. Do you have any statistics about what the demographic is? Who is being trafficked? Like, is it minorities? Is it,
You mean,
know,
okay.
I'm curious about that. Is there a prominent certain group of people?
Predominantly, it's always going to be women.
Really?
Sadly, it
No,
will
of
always
course.
be women. Even to this day, I know someone who is very young who has been trafficked since a very young age. Their way of thinking is completely different than everybody else's, and they are very much male centered. That is all they desire because of
Okay.
how their life has gone.
And maybe in the trauma.
Yeah, the
of it.
trauma. Very much, how do I say? They have no real emotions. They can very much put on a smile, laugh, or whatever. I've never seen this person cry. I mean, even with the saddest news possible, like, nope, does not phase them. Yeah, they have, I guess you could say, tough skin, right? But it's also sad because they kind of are also on this ride of like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
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 So
When you've gone through something so traumatic of that sort, you either
Yeah.
go that way or you're super
yeah,
empathetic towards everything around you. You feel
Yes.
everything.
yeah.
There's no in between.
It's yeah. And sadly this person has chosen to go with the I don't care route. And I think that is where their life will continue to be, in that I don't care.
And when it's touch
Sadly.
base upon, I know you said demographic, but is there a specific characteristic feature wise that specific say we're gonna just kind of go into women, right? Is there a specific feature, or because I know there were studies that came out regarding serial killers, excuse me, and or people that have been kidnapped before, and they said women who don't look for around their surroundings, who have their hair down, is there
Who
a
have
specific
headphones
look
in.
when it comes to for traffic?
That they
Especially here in Sonoma
target.
County. I think with that being said, people think of Sonoma County, they think of wine country. They don't think that. They think of glitz and glamour,
Mhm.
and they think it's a small town.
Yeah.
Everyone's having a good time. Everyone's drinking wine. I don't think they think of the negative side effects of all of that.
But I do know it was mostly obviously minorities, right? It was always people of color, especially we have a lot of gang presence around here. And so a lot of our youth fall into that gang life. And so because of that, you either choose to be poor at home or be mistreated, gang life, or run away. Right? And so those are the 3 usual factors. And for most girls, they usually go for the runaway. And by doing so, that's how you come across people who end up giving you a life that you think you're about to have and then actually put you into a human trafficking.
And I think in a lot of scenarios, people assume human trafficking aimed up somewhere. Human trafficking is, in a sense, glamorized now.
Yes.
A lot of streamers, people who are kind of stuck in a situation that they can't get out of because of
Mhm.
finances, and that's one of the main reasons for trafficking too,
Yeah.
other than
Yes.
what we obviously know, but they utilize the fact that they don't have any money, that they're
Yeah.
poor,
They're
and use it to
vulnerable.
their
Yep.
advantage.
What is it? The financial insecurity is always
Yeah.
going to be the biggest factor.
Poverty is
Because
trauma.
yeah, no doubt.
Bad.
But and it sucks also if your family life is not
Yeah.
the best, because that also entails into what the rest of your life could be, right?
Can we kind of have a definition of what
Yes.
trafficking is, please?
So human trafficking is basically modern day slavery.
Okay.
It is when a person is being held against their will. That could be physical force, weapons, financial insecurity, or in general, even food security, right? That's how they know they're going to get their food. It's that. Basically, it is someone who is being trapped or held against their will to do things another person asks them to, right?
This, at least is how I see it, this may not be considered human trafficking to other people, but there are a lot of women that are stuck in marriages
100%.
that is perceived as you're stuck in a marriage as opposed to something as, I think when they hear that the word trafficking, I think the connotation is, again, you're stuck in a car in a van somewhere. I think a
Yeah.
lot of women in helpless marriages are also considered that as well.
Trafficked. Yes, I guess you could put it in that
In the sense
context.
of women that have tried to leave.
Yeah.
Because I know they're actually the ones that are willing and have divorced, not the ones that have tried to leave and have not been able to,
Yeah.
or mental abuse or financial abuse.
There's the
Yep.
parallels. I see the
Yes,
parallels.
yes.
For sure.
They can correlate, but they do have at the same time different
Yeah,
definitions.
of course.
So yeah,
One's the majority and one's more minor as opposed to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
I think at one point in history, marriage was, or even it was such an enclosed. I mean, people, the trappedness of it all was there for sure. Women did not have the accessibility or the ability to go where they wanted to go and to feel that enclosement.
If you look at it now, people who way back when you were basically sold into a marriage, that is trafficking. That is trafficking. That was 100% trafficking because you are someone else is benefiting from you as a person. And that is 100% trafficking. If someone else is benefiting from you, your physical being, your internal being, that is trafficking. 100%.
We talked about this before.
I bring up the royals every time because I think back and definitely at one point, not even the royals, but that aristocracy. It was about a money transaction and who gets what, and it's usually
The bloodline.
Yeah, the bloodline or whatever. It's before it was more of the transaction. Now it's okay, we're individual.
Yes.
But yeah, going into marriage. So you're married now.
I am. I am married. I am 8 months in
now.
officially. And everyone always asks me, how does married life feel?
Yes,
Has it made a difference in your life?
No, it's made no difference in my life whatsoever.
Hello. Oh yeah, wait, that's good. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I am married. Nothing has changed personally, or at least for me. It doesn't change much. It's now, as him and I both put it, because I can speak for both of us.
Yes.
We put it as now it's a little bit harder to leave.
100%.
Yes, we are tied together. Now we both share each other's debts. And guess what? Sorry, babe, but I have higher debt than you do.
Dang it.
Yeah, it does suck for him. Married life hasn't really changed anything. It feels the same. It's almost, we were already living together. I think that aspect really changes everything. We were already living together for a while. We had already been dating for a while. We're actually going to be 6 years in a couple weeks.
That's so amazing. I'm so happy for you guys. Wow. I do have to say, Crystal, your wedding was spectacular.
Oh,
It was
so whimsical. I loved it.
So whimsical, so cute.
I'm so glad.
Oh my gosh, I will marry in.
No, you put in a lot of work.
You
I
guys.
put in a lot of work. Yesterday, actually, came across my wedding notebook that I was basically writing everybody's names, addresses, all these things. It was my wedding notebook of basically my checklist. And I was going through it last night and I'll put this out there, but I think it was 8 days out and I'm not okay. And big old letters and basically wrote down all of my feelings because I was overly stressed. A lot of things were happening at the time. I was, oh my God, we're 8 days away. My job hadn't told me yet if I was going to get my time off or not for my wedding. And so, yeah, I was full on in panic mode and I was, I'm not okay. Someone make me a 5150. This is not going to go well.
Oh yeah, you're good.
But married life is good. The only downside right now is that we are both on separate schedules. So I'm more in the morning to late evening, and he's graveyard and always has been. And so we see each other in passing. He'll come home, and I'm about to walk out the door, and I'm like, hey, hi. And he's like, hey, hi. And, you know, it's a quick little, I was work. He's like, it was great. And I was like, all right, well, I'm off to mine. So peace out. I'll see you when I see you. Yeah. So it does suck a little bit. I feel we haven't really had that time together. I can time together to spend it. We went on a honeymoon in March
Yeah,
of
where'd
this
you guys go
year.
again? I forgot.
We went to the Dominican Republic. Amazing. Amazing.
How long were you there?
We were there 6 days, which
That's
is
so great.
nice.
No, that's
Which is
so
nice.
great.
I think that's the most time we've spent together since getting married, which
Oh.
sucks. But I have a
Really?
very demanding job,
No,
right?
100%.
I have to do a lot of overtime hours, and it sucks because that means I have less family time with his side, with my own side. My side lives down in LA. So that means I really have to plan it out to go see them. And then even to spend time with him is I have to schedule it. Yeah.
That's adult life.
Yeah.
It is adult life.
Dual income,
is-
no matter life.
yes,
Like
yes,
you have to make money. You know?
And as of right now, we don't
Yeah.
have children. I mean, it's working out pretty well, right?
Imagine as women, we're supposed to feed the family, fund the family. We take care of the children. We do this, we do that, and there's so many things on our plate all the time.
Yeah, every day when I come home from work, I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to take care of kids right now. Like at all.
Yeah,
I can't do it. Like my mental load is just not there.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So do you feel the pressure to have kids? Tell me.
Yes.
I
I
knew
do
it.
feel the pressure of having kids.
Yeah.
But people around me,
Okay.
um, there's a person at work who is
I knew
definitely
it.
very
I know.
much, you need to have babies. It's time for you to have babies. And I'm like, girl, no. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
so she's always wishing upon me babies, right? She does this whole thing. Yeah. And I'm away from me. I have always said that I did not want kids. And a couple years ago, I was diagnosed with PMOS, right? Which is,
what is that?
originally it was PCOS, which was polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Okay.
And recently they changed it to polycystic or polymetabolic ovarian syndrome.
Okay. I
And
have not
so
heard of that.
I was diagnosed back in late 2020, early 21. I went to 7 different doctors to find out what the fuck was wrong with me.
So Crystal, can you go in is that because I know endometriosis, which is
It's within your uterus. Yeah.
kind of similar or
No, it's
Okay.
completely different. They're two different things. They do
Okay.
have sister symptoms, if
Okay,
you want to put it that way, but they're two completely different things. So I have PMOS. It is a little bit harder for me to get pregnant, which
Okay.
is okay with me.
We're already in alignment.
Yeah,
I
great.
think that conversation of how people push the narrative that as soon as we're married or as soon as we have
Automatic.
children,
Yeah, I
I think
don't
people need to understand that is
understand.
something that's still a topic of discussion among the partners as opposed to public.
Yep.
Yes.
It is a topic that comes across, right, our table from now and then where I feel this internal conflict more than anything. Not really with him, but more internal conflict with myself of
Sure.
like, I want to give you a child, but I also don't want to do that to myself because I might not be okay. I already suffer from anxiety and depression, and not everyone believes in anxiety and depression. They think it's all it's all hocus pocus, but
I
it
feel
is.
men push that.
They do, but I do know some women who also think that way too, right?
That's crazy.
But it's one of those things where I'm very much divided. I've always been, no, I don't want kids. I don't want kids. But now that I'm married and I do truly love him and he really loves me, right? And we are equal partners. It is one of those things where I'm like,
Can I ask you why do you feel that way though? Why do you feel as if you give him a child? If you want
Have
to, you
one.
can adopt.
yeah,
can-
I know.
you know,
I think it's
you know.
because of the bloodline. situation,
Oh,
right? Where people are the bloodline. But I'm also very much, I like to prove people wrong. And so anyone who's, you're going to have kids,
Stop.
I'm like, oh, you are adding to the list of not having kids.
Really easy to react to.
Yeah.
Yes, which sucks, but it's fine. But yeah, no, I have this internal conflict. Every now and then I think, what happens? And it's a fear of mine, right? Well, what happens if he dies? Then I'm by myself, right? I have nothing of other than materialistic things of what we
Yeah.
had together,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And
huge.
so that's kind of one of those
Girl.
things where I always end up in this darker tunnel of, "Fuck, if I don't have kids, then if he leaves or God forbid he dies in some
Something
odd accident, right?
Mhm.
Then I am completely by myself. Yes, I have friends and family, but
Sure.
it's not the same as having someone physically in your
Physically.
home all the time. But at the same time, I think about it, and I don't think that I would be, again, okay to be able to take care of another human being while also grieving and trying to go to work and providing a life and having my own life. And it's, you got to sacrifice a lot.
And I think that's a very selfish decision in the sense that's really good for you though.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't understand that it's okay to be selfish.
it is. It is okay to
The
be selfish.
validation. We validate that.
I see
Yes.
a lot of people who are in situations which they can't financially support the children that we have, and they're not adopting, they're
Felt that
just
way with my
procreating,
family.
right?
Yes, there's a lot of people who keep
Just
having
having,
babies.
having, and then we're stuck. Not we, but they're stuck having to give these children not the greatest quality of life, but
Yeah.
they keep choosing to have children. Then
Family.
there are so many people who are, especially now. Now I feel there's a lot of women that are refusing to have children because of
Yes.
the exact reason, and because
Yes.
they're considering themselves more. And again, they're
Yeah.
being quote selfish, which I think is great,
Yes.
honestly, because you
Best
guys
thing.
are
The
considering
best
yourselves as opposed to bringing, you said, a child into this world, into this cruel world.
Yes.
How many kids you have. This life
Yeah.
is way too cruel.
Yeah, it
And
is.
another thing of why I can't have kids or it's added to my list of don't have kids is I don't think anyone from my side would be happy that I had children. Other than my mom. My mom could go
Okay.
both ways. She supports me in not having children, but she's also like, well, if you do have kids,
Yeah.
I'll be very happy. My grandmother to this day is still alive, but she's
Yeah,
like,
me
don't have
too.
them.
I'm
Fuck that shit.
I think I'm so
that.
glad. I'm so glad though that the older generation's starting to understand.
Yes.
Yes. No, she's like, no, don't
I
have
have the
kids.
She's like,
exact
"Love yourself, enjoy
opposite.
your life, please."
She's like,
What
don't
a
have
great
kids.
grandma. I wish I had that for
No,
my
grandma's
grandma.
there now with you, but
Because she,
obviously she
I
loves her
need
great
that. I
grandkids,
need
right?
Yeah.
But my mom's like, do not have any more. My grandma's, don't have any more, please.
Yeah.
I need that. I
Because
need
I
that.
think I think eventually people really come to realize that this life is just not easy.
Yeah,
It's really not. Like, we're paying so much money for gas right now, right? Food. I mean, we went grocery shopping the other day because we went to two Asian markets to buy some things because we wanted to make Korean style food, right?
Yeah.
Tell us how much.
We both individually spent almost $100 on a couple things, right, to make this one dinner. It is so pricey, and this is to feed two
adults.
adults.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
And if we have leftovers, even better. But it's essentially just to feed us two. We go to Costco. Again, we're buying food for just two. We're spending $300.
least.
And I'm sitting there, the fuck did we buy? And I mean, lucky for us, we both work. We both have our own incomes. We both work overtime as well to have some things in our additional into our carts that
Totally.
aren't necessities. I always tell people, oh, I'm 100% living above my means. But you know what? I have the job to
You
afford
have
it.
You have the right to do that.
This is the
Yes.
thing where
You have the right to do
I
that.
think this is something that we all kind of, especially at the jobs that we're at.
TikTok
But the thing is, some lady was like, some lady was saying, this is the same paycheck that I'm getting is the exact same paycheck that this mom of three is getting. How would you survive?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I question that all the time. I mean, I have coworkers, right, who also have kids and have a different life than I do, right? Excuse me. I question how we're managing. Because I have one coworker who just bought a house. I'm like, girl, I can't even afford a house right now. Like, what? But again, right, I have a higher debt ratio than she does. She
Unknown factor.
did not go to college, but she's made a life for herself and she's doing great. I'm so happy for her that she bought a house and she's taking care of her kids and she's living a good life with them. I, on the other hand, and paying off my student loan.
Yeah. Right.
Like other things that I got before my husband came into the picture. I bought my own home before he came into the picture, so I'm still paying off that, and I did renovations, so I'm
Yeah, I
paying
was gonna say, probably
renovations.
addition.
There's a bunch
Yeah.
of things, and even though I would absolutely love, or at least the goal is in the next 5 years, I would like for him and I to actually buy another home for him and
Yes.
I to actually grow into.
Yeah.
Our current home is pretty small. It's a 2-bedroom, single family home style, right? We have a dog, and I want to get him a yard. That is my child, and I want to get him a yard to run around and chase
You
the birds.
deserve
But we're all above it. All of us are living above our means. And moms who have kids and are doing single mom things, honestly, I
Girl.
appraise them. My mom was a single mom, right?
think
I
parents
don't know
in general-
how the hell she did it.
I think parents, single
No,
people, everyone within this economy, like honestly, because we're
Yes.
all
No,
just
it's true.
alive,
No,
Yes.
it's true.
making it.
We survived COVID.
Exactly.
Yes.
As
Did it.
millennials, we survived a lot.
We have. It's crazy. I mean, back then, my mom was a single mom. She
Yeah,
went
how
through
was
the
that?
2008
Mm.
market crash,
Yeah. Are you
recession.
an only child?
I am not an
Okay.
only child. Biologically, I have
Mhm.
one full-blooded sibling,
Okay.
and I have 6 other half siblings.
Oh
So there's like
Very bigger family.
8 of us technically.
Bigger family on the outside.
Bigger family on the outside that I have no connections with, which is
Okay.
fine with me because most of them are shit.
We
We
all-
all grew up
know what?
super differently. We all
I
have
see.
different morals.
In
We all
LA,
have different
in
standards.
LA,
Yes. Yes. We all have different standards. I mean, my half sister, she
Yeah.
apparently is doing really great. She is gonna have her second baby. She lives up in Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. She's married.
Oregon is nice.
Yeah, she's
Oregon.
living her life. Her and I don't have a relationship whatsoever. So, I mean, I wish her well. And then my brothers or my half brothers all are doing whatever the fuck they feel like, right?
Touch base upon where I said people are just having kids that have kids, and now all these kids are all spread
Yeah.
all within
Yeah.
the United
Yeah.
States.
My
and
dad
no
decided to be a man whore.
have no
They're out there.
Bring
They're
their
out
own
there.
meeting together.
No,
At
it
all.
didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. And I wish it would have. I think when we were younger, obviously our dad had more judgment of what we could or couldn't do. So he got us all together as frequently as he could. But it was always rough because
Really?
even though there was 2 older brothers
Mhm.
above me, I was the eldest daughter.
yeah.
So guess what? All of the responsibility
Yep.
ended up on me. And
I
so
feel that the most.
100%. And so I relate to a lot of elder daughters who don't want to have kids, who don't want to get married, who don't want a certain lifestyle.
I haven't.
Yeah.
She's what,
See?
36? No kids, her and her husband.
Fuck
She's
yeah.
enjoying
Sure.
life though.
Yeah.
I tell her, I said, don't have me.
It gives us the will to go see the world.
Yes, yes. Do it for us. I'm gonna live vicariously for you guys.
Yeah.
100%.
I recently went on vacation with my mom and some of my cousins.
love-
And they were like, "Oh, I'm an aunt, I'm an aunt, I'm an aunt." And then they're like, "Crystal, are you an aunt?" And I was like, "Technically, no. I mean, my half sister did have kids, but I don't have a relationship with her. So do I really count her? No, I'm not an aunt. My actual full-blooded brother still lives at home, but he has like a disability. So he's on a different
Yeah.
spectrum, right? Won't be having kids for a while. No, I'm technically not an aunt by blood on my side of the family. I am an aunt by marriage, right? Because my
Yeah.
husband does have nieces and a nephew and
Yeah.
many, many cousins, and he has such a big family, and I love that. But at the same time, I am on the outside of that family, right?
Yeah.
It is a little weird, but I still love it. I
Yeah.
still love every single one of them.
I think
It's
you're
so
still an
great.
aunt. That still counts. I think
I,
it still
I will
counts.
associate it as an aunt, but technically by blood on my side, I am not, which is
That's
okay.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And when you are one day, you're gonna be the rich auntie that travels
Yeah.
the world.
Yes, that is the goal.
And if you're not, you're gonna be the rich Crystal that travels the world.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
like,
Either way, you're gonna be you, and we want you
Exactly.
to be the most you, whatever you want to be.
I want to see the world. I want him and
Yeah,
I
right.
to go
Travel.
explore
Okay.
and do all the things because he's more of a historical fact person and I'm more of a put me on the beach sipping a pina colada. So I'm willing to do both. If he wants to go to Rome in 3 months, I'm like, shit, let's go. We have nothing else holding us back other than the dog. And the dog, we can find
Yeah.
a place. Yes,
as
free will.
women, yes, you have the choice as women.
Yeah.
to not have children. Because I know maybe 56 years ago, if you didn't have children, you were considered loony and then put into a
100%.
psych
Yeah,
ward.
you
No,
were considered a
literally.
Yeah.
spinster,
Yeah.
Literally.
and you were a
You
housemaid,
were punished.
basically.
You were punished for
Yeah,
not
being
being
able
have
to-
kids.
I think about the life that my family has had. We're all predominantly women, and I'm first generation here in the States.
Okay.
My mom was an immigrant who came here at a very early age. She came when she was like 9, 10. And my grandmother also came, right? She brought them over. My great grandmother was also brought over eventually.
Wow.
So she got to see most of us as kids.
Yeah.
And when you hear the stories that they tell of being forced into a marriage at a young age, or
It's real.
my
It's real.
grandmother got married really young as well. She was in her teens. She had my uncle also at a young age. Same thing with my mom. I think they're only a couple years apart, essentially. Yeah.
It's like 18 or like older than 18.
I think she was younger than that. Yeah. So they're not far apart. My grandmother and my mom, I think, are only less than 20 years apart, if that. I think they might be less than that. My grandma still looks pretty good for her age. I'm hoping to get there one day too. But I've heard all the different stories, all the horrific things that they all went through during their marriages or during their relationships. And that was one thing that I knew that I did not want to go through as a woman. I didn't want to go through the same cycle. My great grandmother, because that's as far as I can remember,
Yeah.
right? Or as I've been told, my great grandmother got married, had kids, right? Her husband left her for another woman. Right. So then she was stuck
Classic.
here raising 4 daughters. Okay. Those 4 daughters eventually all married, got partners, right?
Yeah.
My grandmother got married, had a husband. Well, guess what? He left after she had a miscarriage of their 3rd baby. He was like, peace out. I found another woman who's actually going to give me children and have a
Epic.
life, right? So he moved on, and he made a whole life for himself.
Wow.
While my grandmother and my mom and my uncle lived in this tiny little shack in a 3rd world country. This tiny thing. I mean, back in 2011, they took me and we saw it.
Really?
I was already a preteen at the time and I've seen it. It was this tiny little shack, an outhouse, basically.
Wow.
That's what they lived in. Eventually, my grandmother brought them to the States, right? She
Yeah.
made a life for them 3. My mom eventually got with my dad. They didn't get married officially until 2014. Mom, you made a bad decision.
Darn it, Mom.
Yeah. And our entire life, even up until my mom got married to my dad, he was not in the picture. He was not there. That cycle continued. My mom is at this point the 3rd one to do it, right? Have kids, be with someone, and he's over here pickpocketing with other people and hopping around. So I always knew if I was going to get married, I did not want to be that person. And I always said that I did not want to be a single mom. So
100%.
to this day, I am holding myself accountable to that.
Can't be a single mom.
Amazing.
I can't be, I can't be a single mom if I don't have kids. And people were like, well, people were like, well, you're married, you're not gonna be a single mom. I told you what my biggest fear is, and my biggest fear is that my husband will pass away. Not even that he'll leave me or find someone else. I could care less about that. I think I've dealt with it my entire life with my other family members. I'm like, whatever, dude. Well, do I believe he'll ever do that? No.
There are married women who are still in relationships with their husbands
Yes.
that are
Yeah.
single parents.
Yes. And that is a thing.
Yeah.
I think I know more people who are married and are basically single moms
Yeah.
within their marriages
I felt
than I do
felt
who
that.
actually are in marriages where people actually coordinate with everything. And that's one thing that him and I are learning, and we have always been each other's backbone, right? If
that.
I'm at 20%,
Crystal.
he is the rest of it, right?
Wow.
If he's at 20%, then I'm holding down the fort. That's how we are, and that's how we've always been together. I would like to keep it that way.
Like that. Crystal, for you. It's so
Yeah.
amazing.
As long as you guys have that unit,
Wow.
stick to that unit.
Yes.
Don't add anyone into that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
keep it
I think
going,
I
keep the
wanna keep it the way it is for now. Maybe
Yes.
down the line I
You are
might
both
change my
so
mind.
young. So young. You're so young. Take your time.
Yes.
And you're breaking that generational trauma. Clarissa and I had talked about this. You're doing it, Crystal, and I'm so happy for her, so proud of you. It's huge. You're so honest and healthy with yourself. I think from a young age, you saw, you experienced. And I do attribute the women in your life, your mom and your grandmother, for being honest with you. My mom was not honest with me. She basically brainwashed me into what I need to be as a woman. I feel like I'm redefining that now as I'm growing older and owning what I want it to be. It's so beautiful
It is.
what you're
It's
saying. And You're valid.
It is a
Yeah.
struggle.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. There is a lot of pressure on my shoulders. There is a lot of heavy weight. Even though I have gone on and lived my life separately from my blood family,
Yes.
there are still things that come into my plate from them, right? Where I feel like I
100%.
still have to take care. I still have to participate in something or give and take, right? And it's going to be my role as the eldest daughter probably for the rest of my life. Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. No, I do have a question for that because I feel that way because I am the oldest and I've always been the way. And I've taken on that role and I've accepted it. But I've learned more recent years that I have to set boundaries. Do you feel that as well?
Yes. So
What do you do?
for my boundaries, or at least with my side, with my father, I do not communicate with him
Okay.
whatsoever.
Tell-
Get money from him
Uh-huh.
for my wedding, right?
Yeah, how did that go?
It
Because-
didn't happen.
Oh, yeah, of course. Because that's what it is. The woman is supposed to fund it.
Yeah, or at least that's the traditional way, right? But essentially, it was me and my husband and some
Yeah.
of our family members and our friends who really did help and came together. I asked my father to give me 5,000. That's
Yeah.
it, right? So, hey, can I get 5,000 from you? It would help pay this, and this.
Yeah.
And he was like,
And that's fair, by the way.
I can give it to you as a loan. I was like, what?
Oh, APR.
No, for real. He was
That's
like,
right.
with interest. And I was like, well, why would I want that? He was like, because I would be borrowing it. And I was like, well, then never mind. I'll figure it out. And so I did. I fucking worked my ass off and he did too. And we came together. And again, we still ended up relying on family and friends who really did help us. And I could never thank them enough for how they helped us. And I mean, essentially, we did do it on our own for most of it. But there were certain things that we were like, things fell through the cracks. Yeah, wedding planning is not easy and things always fall through. Vendors always end up coming out of the woodwind with, hey, actually, transportation plus the cost of gas and all this other shit, we need more. And you're like, it really is.
Pull it out of you.
Can I ask you a question regarding your parents? If you don't mind
Yeah.
answering. So your mom was she's a single mom, right? Growing up because your dad left. Did your mom and your dad did they both get the same amount of backlash for him being a single dad?
Of course not. Of course not. So my grandmother from my dad's side, she's a piece of work. She knew my dad was cheating on my mom the entire time.
Did your mom know?
Eventually she did know. So my dad again cheated on my mom multiple times, and again, it's one of those things where me and her talk about it now because I'm an adult and she's obviously older and an adult, and I tell her like, why did you stick around that so long? Like you did leave when you had me, you left, and you were like, no. But then you went back eventually, and then you kept going back. She's like, it's because I was in love. She's like, I was blinded, right? And that's always been her thing. I was in love and I was blind. And I'm like, damn, can love really blind you that much? And honestly, yeah, it can. It can. I think we've all been in that type of love where
Yeah.
it's so blinding.
Yeah.
You don't realize how miserable you truly are.
Love
Until you're
bombing.
on the outside looking
Yes. So, I mean, that's just how it goes, right?
for some money, and he felt as if he treated you like you were a stranger, right? As opposed
Yes.
to his daughter.
His daughter.
Meanwhile, he
Yeah.
was the one who also had in part creating you,
Yeah.
but yet he feels
The other
No, he has no obligation. It's always been like that with him. When I was young, again, right, he had 8 kids. So and he was trying to participate in everybody's life, but not in equal portions. My brother and I were probably at the bottom of the totem pole
Okay.
versus everybody else, or at least
you
one
the-
specific.
Or no, you're the older.
I'm
two
the
brothers,
elder. Yeah,
Okay.
there's 2 older brothers before me. Well, technically, yeah, 2 older brothers
Okay.
before me, myself, I think my sister, and then some other half brothers, and then my actual like full-blooded brother.
Oh.
And we're all semi 20s, 30s.
Okay.
He was definitely
Oh.
having them back to back.
Wow.
But when we were growing up, and I remember always like, I have a field trip coming up, and my mom
Yeah.
was like, oh, I can't give you money for lunch. And so you're going to have to take a
Sure.
packed lunch. And I was always like, no, when you're a preteen,
Yeah,
teens, you don't
sure.
want that. You
don't
want to
want
be
that.
able, you want to be able to buy food and be cool with your friends. I remember like, we don't have money, right? And so I'm thinking, how the heck am I going to get money? And then for whatever reason, my dad would show up for that weekend. He would stay the weekend. So sadly for me, I would be forced to basically be a loving daughter because at the end of the game, I wanted money.
Yeah.
Guess what I wouldn't get? The fucking money. So
Okay.
even though I would only ask for like 20, maybe even $40 because I
Right,
wanted to get
right.
a souvenir or something, it was
Sure.
always a no. But I remember him always saying that he was paying my half brothers and my half sister
So
money
crazy.
because they had sports or they had tournaments or they had other things, right? But
Yeah.
all I wanted was $20 to $40 for a field trip. And it was always
That's
always
so
a no.
toxic.
Yeah, it was toxic. Fundraisers would come around, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Fundraising for this, you want to buy something, you know, and he'd be like, no. That's one thing that I very much hold it against him for all the years, and I probably will always
I
hold it
mean, that's
against
fair.
him.
I think that's fair.
So yeah, when my wedding came around and I asked him only for 5, and he was like, no, but I can give it to you as a loan. I was like, no, I'm okay.
That
And that was that. And that
breaks
was
to
the
the
end.
heart.
I recently talked to him, but before that, the last time he talked to me was my birthday. He
Okay.
called me, he called me and said happy birthday, whatever, right? That was that. My birthday was in February. The most recent time he called me was last week. It's been 3 months. The audacity of this man. Yeah, the audacity of this man was, are you pregnant yet?
Oh god.
Oh man. That's
He was
so-
like, are you going to make me a granddad yet?
Like he doesn't have grandkids.
Yeah. And I'm like, bro, you have 3 grandkids already.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna ask me that. Like, you're just gonna be like, are you gonna make me a granddad
Straight
yet? Are
up.
you pregnant yet? What in the world? And so we had a full conversation, luckily for him, right? But I was astonished by the audacity of this man to ask me.
So what is his main role? It's just to procreate and then have his kids create more and more again.
Yeah,
Like that
he
bloodline?
so very much the machismo, right? Because
Okay.
he is born and raised majority of his life in El Salvador. That is where my
Okay.
family is from. I am full Salvadorian, right? Only American
didn't
because
know
I was born here.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only American because I was born here. But both of my parents are Salvadorian, and my dad didn't come here until his 20s. He still has that mentality of the Latin Hispanic community of like a man is only there to be a man and have kids and not take care of households or anything.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
know that. I thought it
yeah.
was more the macho, the alphaness to it.
That too.
Okay, I didn't know there was that element where it was that is it an expectation that it's okay, males procreate and that's their job and then they're really hands off, they don't have that responsibility?
Basically, I mean,
Oh.
he was raised by my grandfather. I only knew him for a
Okay.
little bit until he passed, but even then, as a child, I knew that I was not preferred because I was a girl. So that was always like instilled in us. My dad, even at a very young age, me as a girl, he was always like, you need to make something for all your siblings and myself, right? You need to cook. Like me thinking, I don't even cook at home. Like what?
He was already putting you in that role. at
Yes,
such a young
I was
age?
very much put in that role at a young age. My grandmother from my dad's side as well always had that instilled. She was always like, tienes que estar en la cocina, meaning you have to be
Yes,
in the
okay.
kitchen. You should be providing to the man. My grandmother remarried to some other guy. I hated him. He always gave me the
Really?
heebie-jeebies. I could not be around that man. There was always something my body warned me.
Good.
But
That's
it was so odd cooking for someone I did not know, but because he was a man, I had to. It was wild. Most of my life, I've blocked a lot of different things. I started going to therapy back in like November because of a bunch of different combinations. And me and my therapist were talking about how I'm codependent. I was like, hold on, woman. No, I'm not. Me codependent? No way. I'm so independent. And she's like, no. You are codependent though,
Really?
because even though you are trying to separate yourself and be an independent woman, she's like, you are, but you're codependent because you always need the approval of someone else. And that's because it was instilled in me at a young age, right? That I needed approval from a man.
From a man.
Right. And one thing that I found discouraging at a young age, now as an adult, I'm like, whatever, was if you cook something well, people always told you, oh, ya puedes cocinar, meaning, oh, now you can cook, you can get married. Yeah, basically,
And
you
that's
can keep
still
a man.
that's
And still,
what they
yeah, and people still say nowadays, right? I know in my friend group, or at least most of my Latina friends, we say it, but we say it in a joking manner because we know how condescending it really is and how
100%.
degrading the statement is.
I know women who even look down upon other women because they can't cook.
I have seen
Yes,
that. I have
yes.
seen that.
And it sucks because I'm like, does
And
it
unless you
fucking
can feed
matter?
yourself, as long as you can feed yourself, I mean, you do like
Yeah,
As long as you're healthy.
yes.
yeah.
I mean, again, right? My grandparents were from that older generation,
Yeah.
especially both my grandmothers, because they're both alive. My grandmother from my father's side is definitely more of the traditional household. My grandmother had that, my actual grandmother had that idea, but I think when she came to realize that a man is not needed, she stopped that. She didn't care. Yeah.
What amazing.
She
Be
did
able to
not
break
care.
that.
Yeah, as she got older, she was like, fuck men.
Heck yeah. Oh my
She's like, they're all
God.
pieces of shit. I think my mom, now that she's getting older, she is also getting on that boat of like, fuck men. They're all
Yeah.
useless.
Fuck
Yes.
men.
Yes,
Exactly.
they're all
Yeah.
useless. And
It's
so
true.
I love that they're finally getting to that phase of their life where they're acknowledging it. I think at a young age for me, I came to realize that men were all garbage because of the prime example I had, right?
Yeah.
My idea of love
Yeah. What
and
is your idea of love?
my idea of love was
Tell
all
us.
based off of romantic movies. Sadly.
I don't think it's that sad. I mean, there's a lot of great romantic
No,
movies
there
out there.
is, but it
But what do
gives
you
you
think?
false expectations.
Fantasies.
Yeah, the fantasies. My cousins and I are all super close because we all love Twilight, right? And
Hey, that goes back.
yes, we all were teens around the same time,
Yeah.
right? We're all
It's huge.
different
I
ages,
remember
but we were
that.
teens around the same time. So we all talk about how our idea of love was based off this one movie.
You're
Now,
not alone.
no, we're not.
Let me tell you.
3 out of the 4 of us is married and 2 out of the 4 have kids. Obviously, life has definitely punched us in the face of like, that was
Totally.
not
Yeah,
real.
that's-
We, as a whole, have decided that we're not going to be like our grandmothers or our aunts and all those people having this false expectation of love because we want to make sure that we teach the next generations other things of what love could be. But I mean, my dad was not a good example of love.
Yeah.
And
Clearly.
I'm going to put this out there as well. When it was the week or the 2 weeks before our wedding, I was really in this shithole of the fuck am I doing? And I know that he was also kind of relatively thinking it, right? Are we really doing this? Is this really what we both want? Are we going to regret this? And I was in panic mode. The last month before my wedding, I was in panic mode, day in, day out.
I feel like that's
Um,
natural though.
Yeah, it is though.
it
I
is.
mean, there's a big
Yeah.
decision. I don't have a role model of marriage, right? So that was always a really big thing for me. I always, and I would tell him, I'm scared because I don't have an idea of marriage. I was like, you do because you still have your mom and your dad who have been married this entire time, and maybe your upbringing was different, but at least you know that it's possible for parents to still be together and married.
Yeah.
While I, on the other hand, grew up knowing that my mom was almost a single mom, but my dad was in and out of the picture because she let him, right? Then they eventually got married, and I remember thinking, why the fuck are you getting married? And she didn't listen to neither myself or my grandma. Then they were together, but she was miserable the entire time because my mom had this idea of like, I'm never going to find love, right? And so that was her reasoning. And then they got divorced back in 21, 22 because of things that happened in 2020. And it's a combination. And it was always like, what am I doing? And I would tell him, I'm so scared. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Right. I love him because he was like,
What do you say?
we got this. He's like, what you and I build will be what we build together. I'm here for you. And he's always reassured me and made sure that I know that I have him and that he has me as well. And so that's one thing that I always greatly appreciate about him. He's just so caring and loving and makes sure that I'm not crazy.
You're rock. You're foundation.
Yeah, no, he really is. He is my rock. He's my foundation. And honestly, I said, right, he is my back.
What I can say about both of you, Crystals, I've seen up in the beginning, it was always you two. It was just you and him together. like this, and that's how it was always going to be.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm glad and I'm hoping that it's always like that. But again, the
believe it.
fear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the utter fear of not knowing what am I getting myself into? Is this going to be right? Like, what is marriage, right? And I have a couple friends I have a very diverse community of friends, and my Latina friends recently been getting engaged, getting married. One of my friends recently got married. She eloped in February and had her actual reception wedding situation in April. And one thing that we were always talking about was she also did not have a standard of what marriage should be or is, right? Other than the fucked up world that we both grew up in. And so I remember she also had the same fear of what am I getting myself into? Is this really what I want to do? Is this the person I want to be with?
That's
Yes, I told
very helpful.
I remember sitting there with her on the phone and telling her I was on the same boat. I was like, and now a lot of things make sense to you why I was acting the way I was acting at that time. I said, because I was in my head utterly destroying myself over what am I doing? What is happening? What needs to get done? Bills still have to get paid. Like
Yeah.
all these different things. So we're both in this joint team of we're going to discover what marriage is together.
Yeah, that's
Great.
literally it's the same experience.
Yes,
Life right
yes.
now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same speed. I couldn't even say about it. Like, seriously, Crystal.
We
And
are.
it gives you the confidence and the empowerment. That
Mhm.
is like two things that definitely is happening. Yeah. What you need, because as you said, like you went that whole time with not having that. And there was a lot of this like chaotic trauma it seemed. And so you broke that, Crystal. And
I know. We're starting to break
Side.
things.
Yes,
Yes. We're starting to break curses and traumas and generational everything,
Yes.
right? Because I don't want to continue that cycle
Yeah.
at
And,
all.
and depending on your culture and where you're from and where your parents are from, what they're doing and what they have done, it's so beautiful. And that's why I love that we want to bring that out and talk about it and put it out there in the world. But I did want to ask you, Crystal, so what is love to you? Could you go into that a little bit? I know we were talking about love earlier. What is love to you?
What I feel is love, right, is someone who is going to be your rock, right? But you are also willing to be theirs. It's always a split thing. Yes, it is a lot of compromising, but our older aunts and our great aunts and our great, grandmothers and my grandmother, I remember one of my aunts got married and she was always saying 50-50, and they were like, what's 50-50? Like this and that, right? And so they were always judging it. But now as an older person, I'm like, no, marriage and the idea of love is all 50-50. We have to split everything. We can't, one person cannot just hold it all together all the
Sharing is
time. Yeah. And so the idea of love to me is someone who's going to be your rock, who is going to love you unconditionally for the worst and for the best through the lows of life, right? Because I love that man through everything he's gone through, and he loves me through everything that I've gone through. Our past history, we know each other's lives like no other, right? He knows the things that I've done, and I know the things he's done, and I love him at the end of the day, no matter what. And one thing that we both have done is gained weight in our marriage. And people are always like, well, that's happy love. No, it truly is. And you know what? I think recently I looked at some photos of us and I'm like, I love him no matter what shape or form he is. I love him so much. And
So genuine.
yes. And lucky for him, he's probably like the only man I will ever love.
Yay.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up.
He
Sir,
won't.
know where you're at.
Yeah.
You love Crystal.
Well, love is just unconditional. It is never angry. It is always respectful, and you are each other's rocks.
Now, do you believe love really conquers all?
I think communication conquers all. Because yes,
good.
love helps, but if you're not communicating, the fuck is love gonna do for you?
That sounds yeah. Heck yeah.
Love isn't gonna do shit.
Yeah.
Because if I'm silent for 2 days and you're still trying to love on me,
Yeah.
that's not gonna get you
No.
what you want. And it's gonna make me angrier.
Yeah.
So communication is really what's gonna conquer any situation. The good, the worst, everything. Because if we're not talking, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're not
Yeah.
growing.
Oh.
Communication, you can grow. I think you have to grow in love, and that's how you love more. And that's love is never ends. I think it's
I
endless.
think when people say that, they think the idea of love is linear. That's why I asked you that question.
Yeah.
Love isn't linear, obviously.
It's
You
not.
can
It's
love
not.
in so many different ways.
Oh yeah, love is so many different things,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I could love my dog,
Yeah.
but it's a
Yeah.
different type of love than what I have for my
Yeah.
husband. I love my mom, but again, they're all different types. But I think love at the end of the day is unconditional. You have each other's backs, and through the good and the bad, you are there for one another.
That's so beautiful, Crystal. I'm
Yeah.
so happy that you're basking in that and you're living that, breaking all of the negative things.
We're trying to.
So proud of you. I had a comment going back to what your parents experienced in the El Salvadorian culture and that alphaness and basically men are superior to women and everything like that. I had to say that I felt that in a different way in a white world, a white Caucasian world. There is not as heavy, but it is an element of that. Whereas I felt that there was these subtleties. Where was going back to a quick story about the kitchen. When I played a lot of sports, and so when I was younger, I was on the basketball team, and I might have told you this person, but I had this one coach. He always chose me as one of his players because I was tall and I was pretty good at basketball. But I was always a center because of those reasons. And then he would always yell at me from the bench, Mary, stay in the kitchen. He literally would say that.
What?
Yeah, I'm not
What does
kidding.
that even mean
Okay.
as a child?
I know. So to me, and what in basketball because there's a box.
The box.
There's a box, and so he said that. And then the child, I didn't even understand what that meant. I guess that's funny. And then as I got older, oh my god, this is the sexiest thing you could ever say
To a
you know,
child.
To a
To a
child.
child.
To a child.
Why is it that men
So-
treat young girls, especially children, like
Yeah.
they're adults?
Yeah, because I feel like they want us to act like an adult, but then be like a child.
Yeah.
Conditioning us into what we need, what they expect us to do older.
Yes, because again, this
That is
world
true.
is run by men. Sadly,
Yes.
sadly.
I had to throw in that, and then
No, that I mean, it's
So
very
it's like-
true.
and that's why I really appreciate you sharing that because I am in my bubble. That's a crazy thing, and it's so surprising for me. It burst my bubble to hear that's the expectations of men in certain cultures. I'm like, whoa, but that is totally real, and it's true, and it's so. Crystal, you're doing all the right things.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
leading
Thank
the
you.
way
Yeah.
because not only do you believe it and practice it, but then that's your career and your job. The
The new
leader.
generation.
I am
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
what do you say to these girls? What do we do? Can you tell me?
Oh my
I'm like, what do I do?
Teenage girls are something else. And every
Correct.
day that I am with them, I tell my coworker, I'm like, I need to call my mom and apologize to her. Because what in the world? And don't get me wrong, I know that I'm not as bad as these girls are, or I wasn't that bad because I was basically a straight A student with
Yeah.
fucking
You're
AP
like, you
classes.
really
Yeah. I was
Fine.
doing all the things that I was supposed to do because I was a good girl, right? But I still obviously did things that mom didn't love and she didn't like. But there's days where I'm like, oh, I need to apologize to her.
Especially now having the age attitude. I get it now.
Uh-huh.
I have apologized to my mom. I'm so sorry for everything I put you through.
Yes.
Like, you see it now, right? Yes.
Yes. And so going back to the kids, right? When
Yeah.
I'm at work and right every day I'm with them so often, I'm like they're basically my coworkers as well. That every now and then someone's, are you gonna have kids? And I'm like, no. What do I need kids for if I got 15 others I gotta look for?
And I get paid for this.
Yeah. Like I don't need them. I am experiencing all the life things with each and every single one of them. The boys, I'm learning about the boys and all the things they do and the chaoticness they have. Oh my God. The boys are 10
Right.
times worse than the girls. Let me tell you,
Well, actually, I believe that.
teenage boys are way worse than the girls. Because at some point, the girls,
One point.
myself and them, can see eye to eye and agree on things. The boys, it's always contradicting and they're so sassy. They're worse than we are. Oh my goodness. And they love the attitude, the fact that they love to gossip about everything.
They do.
They're
They do.
way worse than girls.
And
The
then
only
it goes into adulthood too.
Yeah, it does.
If it doesn't get corrected when they're younger, it goes into adulthood.
Yes. And what's funny is that people always say, oh, women always gossip. No. If I want to know something about something that's going on at work, I go up to one of those boys. Those boys know everything.
They do.
Mhm. And I'm like, spill it. I'm ready. Give me the tea. Like, what's up? What happened? What happened while I was gone?
Yeah.
And I find it always so funny because those boys will always tell me more than the girls do. The only thing that is different about them is that the girls obviously crush on the boys 10 times harder than the boys do. Oh, those love notes, Lord.
Wow.
Those love notes, and every time I get one in my hand, right, I have to read it to make sure,
'Cause they
like
don't
all
have
the
phones.
things. They do have phones, but they only call to their parents, or so we think, right?
Okay, yeah.
When I see love notes and I start to read them, this is so mushy. It's so gross. Yes, they're like, that's my fine shit. Don't, so cringe.
I could never.
And
I
I'm-
do what you do.
Yeah, yeah, you are. That's why I'm telling you right now. And that's when I'm like, yeah, you guys are my birth control.
Yeah, I was right. That was 100%. You don't want. to
I
go
don't
there.
need, yeah, no, those teenage girls, they teach me so much and they are so polar opposites. It's funny because all the things you would think the guys would
Yeah.
be talking about are actually what the girls are talking about. And what you think the girls would be talking about is all the things the guys are actually talking about. Right?
Yeah.
So it's so interesting to me, the conversations that all these kids have and the things they all do. And I mean, all of them are there for a reason. It's crazy at the same time. They all know each other so well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All being separated.
Yeah.
Yeah, while
Yeah.
being
While being separated, they know each other so well, and it's crazy. Yeah, no. Every day I go to work and I'm like, another day.
Another day, something new.
Another day with my kids.
possibly-
Yes.
yeah.
It's funny because people are like, why do you call them your kids? And I'm like, because
No,
they are.
No,
They are. They're essentially their guardian while they're there. I am their parent. I do things differently than a parent would 100% because obviously security and safety. But at the end of the day, when they go to bed, guess who's saying goodnight to them? It's me. I'm saying goodnight on Mother's Day. And this warms my heart a little bit, right? Because then I'm like, this is how I know I might be doing something right.
You are.
On Mother's Day, right, they all called their prospective mothers, or attempted to, because some moms were out doing things and didn't have the time to answer their
Yeah.
kids. So all of them said Happy Mother's Day, whatever, right? That day went by, and at the end of the night, I was still there. And as I'm putting all of them to their rooms to go to bed, right, I'm like, good night. And they're like, good night, mom. Good night, mom. Good night, mom. And at the end of the night, when I'm leaving, right, I yell at all of them. I'm like, all right, bye, guys.
Because a mom doesn't have to be biological.
It doesn't.
No.
Mom
It's
does
a
not
role that
have
you
to
play.
be
Yeah. So again, right, I might not have my own kids biologically, but every day that I do go to work, these are mine. Of course, with a certain distance and certain standards, right? I obviously still have boundaries with them. But at the end of the
that's
day,
very important.
I do appreciate that, right? The little
Yeah.
comment. It warmed me up a little bit. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't have a
I still have feelings.
I still have feelings for you guys. Okay. But it was nice, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Crystal. That's
So I have built my relationships with them out of
Yeah.
respect and making sure that all of them know that at the end of the day, even though I am an authority and whatever they say might be used against them,
Yeah.
that they still trust me enough.
Yeah.
Right. And that they think I care for them, which I do. I make sure that all of them get equal parts in food, get what they need. They might think that I don't, but I do. Make sure that all of them are learning how they need to learn and getting the programming that they need.
It's amazing. Yeah, that's so beautiful. I know you are so perfect for that role and you do it so
Mhm.
well. 100%. And we need you.
You, for me,
Yes.
travel
Yes.
to better argue.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
That's
like-
so important.
One thing that I always do love is when a kid gets out, right?
Yeah.
Depending.
Sure.
Some of them really, really are like, I'm never coming back. And I'm like, all right, I'm holding it to you. Like every now and then someone will write me a letter, right? Saying, like, thank you.
I was
You're,
thinking about
and they're always
that.
like, your smile really lightens up the day. You're always such a positive person. And it's funny because they all always almost kind of say the same. You're always so happy. You're such a positive person. Yeah, you act a mom. You make sure we're all okay. Thank you for checking up on me when I had a bad day, whatever it was, right? So I'm like, well, if I didn't do that, who else is going to do it?
Yeah.
I know that all my coworkers do our job differently, right? And at the end of the day, we're all supposed to end up with one solution in a sense, but we all do it differently. The way that I do it is a different way than somebody else's, but I know that me and a couple coworkers will always end up with letters saying thank you. Not always that always boosts the morale a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
because
Totally.
it gets very disheartening when you see one kid get out and then a couple days later come back in. And you're like,
Totally.
what happened? It keeps happening. And it's a cycle that never ends. And it sucks so much. It sucks so much.
Can't even imagine. Always keep that emotion. If you ever have a sense of losing that, then maybe that's time where you have some time
Yes,
away.
that is something I've
You know what I
always been
mean?
told. I remember meeting an officer once and they said the moment you stop caring is the moment you need to step away from the
Yes.
job
Yep.
because that means you've
Yep.
been desensitized
Yep.
so much that you have nothing.
That's
So I've always
Bad
taken that
things
to
happen.
heart because there's some things I am already developing. I've only been there for 2 years, but what I tell coworkers is that I've been there for 3 summers now.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen some of these kids come back, leave, come back. I am currently, all my girls are the same girls I started with
really
my first summer. And it's kind of disheartening, but it's also, what can I do? Yeah, we're back at it again. At least this time I have been here long enough and I can control you guys.
Yeah.
But there are some things that I've already realized that I'm starting to lose, right? And I'm a very empathetic person
Oh,
and
100%.
sympathetic
Yeah.
person. One of the things that I'm already losing is that I'm losing my empathy and my sympathy towards some of them because it's like no matter how much you try and help them and give them the opportunities they need, they end up doing things that they're not supposed to.
There's a lot that
Right. So I tell people I'm starting to lose that and I don't want to be one of those to already lose it so fast. I'm only 2 years in officially, but this is my 3rd summer. It sucks. It does suck. And it sucks miserably because a lot of them, when you think about why they're there, it's because they didn't have the correct role models.
Yeah.
A lot of them have men in their lives or non-existent men in their lives.
Totally.
So they look for it anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's funny because a lot of them still have their moms, even though some of their moms are pretty much the same as the dads, where they're either non-existent or abusive. They still have better relationships with these moms than they do with the supposed dads. Yes. Yes. So to know that a lot of them are looking for a male figure of some sort somewhere else, and that's how they end up doing what they're doing, it breaks me because I've always known men are shitty, but are they that shitty that we continue to let it keep going? And even nowadays with social media putting men on blast, look at this mom or this married woman who's a single mom, and we're still pointing out a flaw in a man, but yet men still keep doing it. Why can't we fix that? Yeah, why can't men fix it on their own?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be women to try and be like, hey, fix it? Why is it that it has to be a mom to raise her
I
son?
think it's because in the end, there's always going to be a woman that's going to love him for him. So he's just going to allow for himself to remain the same way.
Yes.
So always
Which,
validate.
again, it's one of those things of like, I've always said, we're not angry enough for the things
Yes.
we deal with men.
You're 100%.
We need to be angrier because if you were angrier with your significant others and you told them what was actually wrong and what is bugging you, then maybe they'd be able to fix it, right? But
That's
if we're
true.
holding it all in and we're keeping it to ourselves, right, then nothing's ever going to get done. These kids, sadly, they are the next generation. They are our future. If you ask all of them, which I have, hey, do you think you guys as a generation are going to be okay? They're all like, oh no, we're going to be so screwed. They're so honest about it. I'm cool. You're the one who's supposed to be paying for my social security. To go, I'm not going to have shit. Got it.
Not gonna have anything.
I'm like, okay, got to live the life now. Got it. Yeah.
Live in the moment. Live in the present.
Yeah.
But these mothers, boys, really need to.
Yes. Yes.
There's
They
so much
do.
expectation from a man for a daughter, from a mother to a daughter, but never enough
Expectations for a son.
Yeah.
Never
This is
ever.
why they grow up to be adults and shit.
Yeah.
And then again they go to another adult woman and they take from them and then leave that person and take from them and
Yep.
keep taking over.
And boy moms are another type of breed. Seriously. Especially when it comes down to their boys can never do no wrong.
Yeah.
Why
I see
do
that.
we do
100%.
that? Why are we so willing to cover up, especially crimes, right?
Too many
Crimes.
cases of rape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why
So
are
bad.
boy moms so willing to cover up their sons? No, they didn't do anything wrong. They would never. You don't know them like that.
I think there's also enough shame where they know that that's how they raise them.
That too.
Yeah. No, that's true.
That
Because it
too.
will reflect on them.
Mhm.
That's true.
I always think of the
Very sad.
what is it? The Gabby Petito case, where
Remind me of what that was.
Gabby Petito, there was a couple that were going across the country in a van. Yeah, they were doing the van life and they were documenting it, right?
Oh my
Yes.
gosh,
Yes.
God.
So I always think about that scenario
Yeah.
where Gabby was murdered by her significant other,
Yeah.
right? And yet his family covered up
No,
for
that's
him.
sad.
How could you do that? A murder. I can never
And
understand
it wasn't
why.
covered from like police went to their house,
Yeah.
investigated them. They still
Everything.
lied.
Yes,
They lied.
they lied every
process.
step of the way. Every damn step. I always
Yeah.
think about that because I don't think I could do that. No matter how much you love someone, I don't think I'd be
Especially-
able to defend them in
the
such
child's an
things.
adult.
Yeah, he is an adult. He's not a child anymore. A fun fact that I took into consideration the other day was that parents will only have children for so long, but most of a parent's life will be their kids as adults.
Oh yeah.
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 So
Right.
you really are only socializing with an adult for the rest of your life. You raised him
Yeah.
or her, but how are you going to defend them when it comes to things like that? Why are we defending a murderer? Why are we defending a rapist? Why are we defending all these different things, all these different scenarios? And it's always a man, right?
Yeah. It is.
Always a man.
It's always.
And it sucks so much because why? Why is it so hard to be like, you did it?
Yeah.
Here,
True.
sorry, this is my kid, but here you go. Take him. I think I read a case once. I can't remember, but it was a mom. And she took her son to the police station. She was like, he's the one you want. I think he was like, someone was wanted for like a rape or a murder of some
Okay.
sort, right? It was a crime.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
okay.
So she knew it was him because like certain things
a
added up.
hero.
And so she took him into the police station and she was like, you're looking for my child. Here you go. My mom always used to say, I don't care. I will love you for forever, right? But if either one of you ever commit a crime, I'm snitching. Yes, because why aren't we holding people accountable for anything? That's one
Yeah.
thing that we do every day at work. We have to hold these teenagers accountable for the actions that they are doing. And that's the whole purpose of them being there, right? We're
Yeah.
holding them accountable for whatever crime they're there for. Even in their day-to-day basis, we're holding them accountable for little things that they should be responsible for. So why as adults, we're not holding anybody accountable for anything?
And like I said, I
Yeah.
think in that regard, as a parent or being your parent now, them being an adult as well, if you hold them accountable, you're also holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's about
Because
the
I've been in
reflection.
instances where situations have happened and there was a crime that was committed. With that being said, the mother of the person who committed the crime kept him and covered him as opposed to, just telling him, come out with the truth.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, it's a reflection of her and how she parented this child.
Yep.
Instead of saying, I'm at fault because I made this child and I created the child and his personality, his characteristics. I'm going to say, you know what? No one's going to have to know what's happening.
Yeah.
And we're going to hide
No,
it.
100%.
It sucks. One thing that I've always said to myself is always believe women, right?
Yes.
If they tell you something happened to them, believe them, right? Until other facts come alive. So I was talking to a friend today. Her and I went to school together. We went to college together. And so she also majored in criminology and criminal justice. So she recently has some family drama where one of her younger cousins is claiming that another cousin has raped her, right? So she believed it cold-heartedly from the very moment this girl said it, right? So she was like, I want that man nowhere near my home,
Yeah.
nowhere near my child. She is an infant. I want them nowhere near anything,
Yeah.
right? Because she believed the girl.
Yeah.
Well, facts came out, things came out, video footage came out. It was not him. He was asleep and she was the one performing on him, which I'm like, whoa, that is one thing that you never really see, right? But we should be holding her accountable
Yes.
for the things that she has
Everybody.
said, right?
Yeah.
Because now she's added to that statistic that men love to say, which is, well, women lie too, right?
Yeah.
Well, she just added to it.
Yes.
So one
And
thing
even worse, a lot of it.
she now, right, has apologized to that cousin and she said, I'm sorry, but I, as someone who studied this, will always believe a woman over a man until other things come about. Yes.
always-
Yes.
It's actually
Statistically,
logical.
yes.
It's
It is
logical.
logical. And so now she's like, I apologize, right? Because obviously I treated him like shit because that's what I knew at the time. Now that I know more and now that we are getting more facts and they're going to court and all these things, she's like, I feel so bad because he's taken a plea deal for nothing he's done at this point. It's been proven, but if one juror says, no, he's guilty, that's it. His life is completely destroyed. He'll be incarcerated. So she's like, he's still gonna have to do community service. I think he's gonna be incarcerated for a little bit and like all these other things. And at the end of the day, I was about to ask her, and then she said, and he's still gonna have to register. And I was like, that sucks. That
Are you
sucks.
serious?
Yes. Yes. And I was like, that's so disheartening. I said, because your other cousin should be held accountable for the things that she has now said. And I said, it does suck because even when she told me the story originally, I was like, yep, I'm on the girl's side, right? Yeah. Now I'm like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And I will always support a woman no matter what
Yeah.
until you
give
prove
us
me
that-
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, until you prove me wrong.
Thank you, Crystal.
You're
Okay, I
welcome.
just want to say that we love you to come back because I want
I would love to come back.
So we could dive into the criminal justice system
Yes.
and talk about that. Because I mean, I feel like to the one juror, I mean, oh my gosh, there's so many things that could be talked about that is wrong
Mhm,
about
mhm.
what we experience in
the
America.
justice
and
system.
the justice system.
Yes.
So thank you, Crystal.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. Watch,
Until next time.
Yes, until next time.
Watch this episode, YouTube, all the socials. Thank you so much.
Bye.